We are recording. Hello and welcome everyone to this week's platform meeting. It's February the 25th and I'm pasting our agenda to the SUMO channel. Making it started.
Hooray!
Yay! All right. Too many tabs. Just a second. Okay. The first item that we have on our agenda is an action item from last week. It was for me. Was pinging Javon. I did. He didn't get back to me yet. Actually, this seems to be like a theme this week. I'll ping him again. Roland, are you talking to him?
I'm not talking.
Mm.
Vaughn, you mean?
Never mind. I'll ping him again about this. Actually, I read an email from his that I have missed apparently from January, where he's saying that he had a discussion with legal, but it was about the wrong thing, and that he will ping that again. And we haven't heard back from him since then. So everybody's pinging everybody. At some point, something will come out of this. I'm pretty sure. I just told him that we did this hack for this, but it's adding to our technical debt on the platform. We would like to do it right. So hopefully he cares enough about that. All right. Do we have any roundtable items? Not yet. Okay. Feel free if you come up with anything, can still add it until the end of this meeting. Then we can talk about our roadmap items. First one is unified AAQ. So the next step, it says here, adding more events. No, this is done already.
Yeah,
so the next step is...
The new events shipped yesterday. We did a push yesterday to put them out.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks a lot for that. So the next step is on me. And so what I'm doing is looking at the events coming in. Probably will take a day or two since a lot of people are using the flow. And we can start comparing that with the old AAQ. And then make a decision, maybe even by next week. And maybe start moving people over. Just so it's clear, right now we're at 10%. We're sending 10% of our users to the new AAQ. And 50%, 90% are going to the old AAQ. And goal until next week would be to increase it to 50% if things are looking good, and then switching completely over. All right. The next item is the KPI dashboard. So last week I told you we would have the chart for contributor satisfaction up this week. I think we're a little late on that, just about a week or so. So as far as I know, Rayhan is done with this KPI, and Brittany has taken over to the charting. Mike and Mike, is that correct?
Yeah. Rayhan put up the second half of his pull request with the API parts of that a couple days ago. Mifman reviewed the first half of it, and then I forget if he's going to look at the second half, but Brittany still needs to look over it to find out the API. She's started on that work, so that's in progress. And Rayhan's moving on to the next thing.
Yay! And so we are a little bit off schedule if you compare it to the travel schedule that's posted here, that's mentioned here. It's not a huge deal. We will have to reevaluate the scope of the next user story. And then we still have one that's a lower priority user story that we can eat into if we need the extra time. Yeah, but the next one is the big one. So the contributor satisfaction should be up then, I'm guessing, next week probably. And the good news here is that we are already starting. Actually, have we already started collecting data? Because I haven't heard back from Rayhan whether it worked out with the I'm not sure how much to talk about this year because it might be boring for other people. But we are using Survey Gizmo, and using their APIs is apparently an adventure in itself. Because they feel like you should discover them yourself instead of documenting them. So we don't exactly know how they behave and how they will behave. I haven't heard back from Rayhan since the last time we spoke on Tuesday. Do you guys know if everything is resolved with that? Like adding emails and are they being sent out?
I haven't heard specifically about that. Since he put up the second part of the PR, presumably he verified when it's done, but we can double check with him if he actually got that email specifically. Also, I'm not terribly concerned about Survey Gizmo people listening in on this stream and getting hurt that we're having trouble with their docs. I will say it publicly and loudly. But yeah. So how about I send an email with you CC'd on it, just confirming whether that email got sent back or not.
Yeah, thanks for that. So ideally, we are already collecting data, and of course, charting is also important. But the important part is first getting the data. So hopefully, that's already started. Either it has started already, or it's starting this week.
It'll be starting this week. The pull request is, like, once the pull request is merged, we'll push it out, and then it'll start collecting. But as of, like,
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Thank you. I misunderstood. I thought it was already on production. Never mind.
No, it's in the last stages of review.
Okay. So we will send out emails this week, which means we will hopefully start getting feedback this week. And then we will have something to chart next week. All right. And the one after this is the user satisfaction KPI. So we've been putting, we've been working on these other KPIs because the last one is the biggest one. And it's going to take, it's not only going to take some time to implement, it's also going to take some time from us. So Michal, we will have to localize this, and I'll contact you after this meeting actually to talk about the details of that. All right. And I think that's it on the roadmap items for this quarter. Do we have anything else?
I guess it's not really on the roadmap, but I probably should have put this in the roundtable. We are almost finished with work on the Django 1.8 upgrade for the site. Will KG figured out possibly? Did we confirm if Will KG figured out the thing that was making the Tesla?
Yeah, that was definitely it.
So, and that's sitting on stage right now, and we're still. Sorry, it's sitting on dev right now, right?
Yeah, it was sitting on dev. We had to work through some deployment problems, but I think I should be ready to try it on stage.
Wow, that's a huge one, right? Should we prepare for that in some way?
We're going to call out a couple areas that we're particularly worried about for QA and debug, and then we'll announce when it's on stage so we can all go and test it just a little bit. And then we'll let it sit there for a little while.
That sounds good. So Michal, you can also let Madalena know about this, that contributors test the usual test passes, and QA can focus on the user-facing parts. Sorry, I mean the visitor user-facing parts, and we can do the contributor side of things. All right. So, sorry, when is that going up on stage?
I hope to get that up today, if everything goes well. I need to verify that everything worked right on dev, but I'm pretty optimistic about it.
Cool. Oh yeah, this is a huge step. Thanks a lot for all the work on this, Mithman and Osmos and everyone who was involved in this. I really appreciate that. So this means we will be on a support the Django version again, and for quite some time. So this is great.
Yeah,
Although,
This version is what they call a long-term support release, so we shouldn't have to worry about this anymore for a couple of years.
so although nothing is changing for users or visitors, this is a huge step. So I'm really glad that we're taking this step. Yeah, thanks everyone who was involved in this. Really appreciate it.
One other thing I'd like to talk about, on kind of the technical detail on the back end that you might not notice, we recently turned on HTTP 2.0 support for SUMO. It's a small thing. It should make the site a little more performant, and it shouldn't, HTTP 2 is a very large standard that's designed to be totally backwards compatible, so it shouldn't cause any problems. If you see anything weird on the site, things not loading right or not working in some browsers that you might expect it to, definitely call that out.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
The change for that was actually just it's a switch in our load balancer. When we did it on stage, it took 5 minutes. It was great.
Huh. I should probably check out our analytics data about this and see if it had any effect. Might be interesting because we are quite a heavy page.
Yeah. Actually, wait. I may have misspoke. We may not have done it on production yet. Sorry.
On prod?
On prod. Did we do it on prod yesterday?
The bug's filed, but it may not have been resolved.
No. Well, okay.
Everyone, chill. It's cool. We're fine.
That's tomorrow.
It'll happen. It'll happen soon. Is the point?
Yeah.
It's a very easy switch, and we found the bug, and the person who's doing them is very excited to click a checkbox on a web page to enable it.
Okay, yeah. I just double checked it. It hasn't actually gone through yet. Yeah, we don't expect to notice any change, except maybe the site will load a little faster.
Yeah, it's especially helpful with loading several items at the same time, right? Like parallel loading.
Unfortunately, we don't get to take advantage of that, primarily just because of the way our sites are architected. It'll help with when lots of things come from the same server, but it won't necessarily help with parallel loading.
Okay.
So we don't get all of the cool stuff, but we get some of it.
That's nice. Thanks for that. All right. Do we have any other items that we should be talking about? No? Well, I'll see you next week. Then maybe even already with the contributor satisfaction KPI up there and charted. I'm really interested in. I'm very curious to see those numbers. Well, for the first time, we'll have a really good look into our community fields about the tools that we are offering and our service. So this is great. Until then, take care and bye-bye.